started in the womb for me, basically. My mom always, listened to classical music before I was born, and then when I was born, the only music I listened to for about 5 years was classical and Sound of Music. That was the only thing I listened to for about 5 years. So that's where I started, and then picked a piano in 3rd grade, and I played that for 10 years. I hated it. My mom finally gave it in after a decade and let me quit. And then I played tuba. I play tuba now, but I started as a baritone player in 5th grade, moved to trombone, and then eventually found myself to the tuba, which is objectively the best of all of them. So, yeah.
I got into music in the 6th grade. During 6th grade orientation, I was sitting in the middle school NPR, and Mr. Harrison came out of nowhere. He kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and he says, "Hey, you should play trombone in the band." And I just moved up here from Oregon. I had nothing better to do, so I signed up for cadet band, and 2 months later, I came in day one playing a clarinet instead of trombone, because I remember my mother really didn't like the idea of me playing a loud instrument. That came back to bite her pretty hard. Sorry, Mom.
So when I was little, I did kinder music. My mom and dad got me into that, of course, and that was really fun, so I always enjoyed music as a small child. And then in 6th grade, my mom really pushed me to join band and at least give it a shot. And I went to the petting zoo and found the French horn, and we've been there ever since.
I think I kind of grew up around it. My grandparents work and they design costumes and whatnot for things like drum corps, and I grew up going to color guard competitions, and so I really think I've been inundated with it since I was really quite young. And my parents tried to get me to play piano when I was like 5 or 6. It didn't work, but I picked up the trumpet in 6th grade and I stuck with it, and I haven't been able to put it down really.
Well, I mean, I've always liked music, and I remember when I was younger, my uncle tried to teach me piano. That didn't really take. And I remember when I was coming to charter, that you had to choose an elective. And the electives were band, orchestra, or the hodgepodge Ford mixture. And I looked at that, I saw PE, cool. Art, sounds fun. Drama, sounds fun. Choir, I hate choir with a burning passion. So that was that wasn't an option to choose. So I decided I'll pick up an instrument. I've always wanted to be able to play music. So then I initially chose violin, but now I play viola.
I do not remember the context for this quote, however I find it funny. I would like to thank my good friend Peter Ossenberg. He has been keeping quotes for years now. The exact quote is, "I had a man purse." I do not know the context for this quote, but it's funny, so that's why I chose it.
My favorite quote out of the many in Peter's quote book is, "This is the independent republic of Mr. Harrison's weenie pants."
For the glissando, you can put your whole butt on the piano.
I think my favorite quote from over the years from Mr. Harrison was, "And Peter wins the Ghetto Award." And the context behind that was every year Mr. Harrison has us go through and put name tags on all of our instrument cases just for festivals and such, so we know that we have our instruments. And the reasoning behind that was for the particular festival we were going to, I was playing my alto saxophone, which comes in this incredibly beat up case with lacings coming off and everything. And I was feeling particularly lazy that year, so I just stuck a piece of duct tape on it for my name tag. And due to the incredibly poor quality of the case, that's where Mr. Harrison said the quote, "And Peter wins the Ghetto Award."